I now call to order the 2014 Annual Meeting of Stockholders of Hormel Foods Corporation. Here with me at the podium are Brian Johnson, Vice President and Corporate Secretary, who will act as Secretary for this meeting, and Jim Snee, Group Vice President and President of Hormel Foods International Corporation. Each of you received a program as you came into the auditorium. It includes an agenda setting forth the business to be transacted at this meeting. The agenda includes the election of a board of 11 directors, the ratification of Ernst & Young as independent registered public accounting firm, and the reapproval of the material terms of the performance goals under the Hormel Foods Corporation 2009 Long-Term Incentive Plan. We will follow this agenda and conduct the business portion of this meeting before we review our stewardship of your company's business. Ample time will be provided for questions, and I ask that you please hold any questions you might have for the question and answer period. Your program also includes the rules of procedure we will follow for this meeting. We will now turn to the business we need to transact for this annual meeting. Mr. Secretary, has proper notice of this meeting been given to stockholders, and do we have a quorum for the transaction of business?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Notice of the meeting was sent to all stockholders of record as of November 29th, 2013, which is the record date for this meeting. A quorum is present for this meeting. Approximately 90% of the company's outstanding stock is represented here tonight, either in person or by proxy.
Well, thank you. Proper notice of the meeting having been given, and since a quorum is present, I declare this 2014 Annual Meeting of Stockholders open for business. The polls for voting on all matters are hereby opened at this time, 8:01 p.m., on January 28, 2014. The polls will remain open until all items of business have been presented. The Board of Directors has elected James Sheehan, Raleigh Ginsler, and James Anderson as inspectors of elections for this meeting. Our first item of business is the election of a board of 11 directors. In addition to me, the nominees for director are as follows: Terry Crews, retired Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for Monsanto Company. Jody Farragon, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of Hormel Foods. Dr. Glenn Forbes, retired Executive Board Chair and Emeritus Physician, Mayo Clinic. Stephen Lacey, Chairman of the Board, President, and Chief Executive Officer of Meredith Corporation. Our lead director, John Morrison, Managing Director of Goldner, Hahn, Johnson & Morrison, and former Executive Vice President of Pillsbury Company. Dr. Elsa Morano, Professor of Nutrition and Food Science and President Emerita, Texas A&M University, and former Undersecretary for Food Safety in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Robert Nakasone, Chief Executive Officer, NAC Enterprises, and former President and Chief Executive Officer of Toys R Us. Susan Nestegard, former President, Global Healthcare for Ecolab. Dakota Pippins, President and Chief Executive Officer of Pippins Strategies, and former Director of Planning at Vigilante, a division of Leo Burnett. And Christopher Policinski, President and Chief Executive Officer of Land O'Lakes. The second item of business is the board's request that the shareholders ratify the Audit Committee's appointment of Ernst & Young as independent registered public accounting firm for fiscal 2014. The third item of business is the reapproval of the material terms of the performance goals under the company's 2009 Long-Term Incentive Plan. This reapproval will enable certain compensation paid under the plan to continue to qualify as deductible performance-based compensation under Internal Revenue Code Section 162M. Is there any discussion on any of these items of business? All of these items were included in the proxy solicitation mailed to you before the meeting. We will now vote on these three items of business. Any stockholder who has not voted by proxy and who desires to vote in person by ballot tonight, please raise your hand and keep it raised until an attendant has provided you with a ballot. Please complete and sign the ballot and pass it to the attendant at the end of the aisle. While the balloting is being completed, I'd like to recognize that today marks the end of Susan Marvin's tenure on our board of directors. Susan decided not to stand for re-election after serving 11.5 years on our board. We thank Susan for her leadership that contributed to the company's record of success, and we wish her the very best. I'd also like to report on executive retirements and advancements during this last year. Dr. Phil Meinertz retired at the end of 2013 after a long and distinguished career with the company. We thank Phil for his contributions and wish him well in retirement. Dr. Kevin Myers succeeded Dr. Meinertz as Vice President, Research and Development. Also in 2013, 3 executives in our refrigerated foods segment were promoted, including Tom Day as Group Vice President, Refrigerated Foods, Deanna Brady as Group Vice President, Food Service, and Mark Arata as Vice President of Food Service Sales. I'd like to ask all of these officers to stand and be recognized at this time. This concludes the business portion of the agenda. Since voting on the formal matters on the agenda has been concluded, I declare that the polls are now closed at 8:06 p.m., January 28, 2014. As in past years, we have a special group in attendance with us here this evening. Our final 4 Best of the Best teams will be presenting their projects tomorrow morning to a panel of judges who will select a champion. I ask that these teams please stand and be recognized as I introduce them. First is our team from the corporate office, who will discuss the development and launch of the Hormel Fire Braised Meats line. The Jennie-O Turkey Store team from Benson, Minnesota will present their live production yield and repair and maintenance project. Next, a team from the Austin plant will present their sanitation optimization project. And lastly, a combined team from the corporate office and the Austin plant will present their efforts to launch our new Hormel Rev product. We also conduct an environmental sustainability Best of the Best competition. Our 2013 championship team is from Century Foods in Sparta, Wisconsin. Their solid waste reduction project achieved impressive results. Congratulations to all of the teams for their hard work and outstanding project, and let's give them a hand. Next, Jim Snee and I will provide more details about our business, as well as outlining some of our plans. Please keep in mind that some of the comments made tonight will be forward-looking. Actual results may differ materially from those projected in these statements. So our theme this year is growth, and it is my pleasure to be able to report to the shareholders that our team accomplished just that. We grew the business again in fiscal 2013. We achieved 6% growth in sales, attaining $8.7 billion, and we grew earnings at a 5% clip at a record $1.95 per share. On the earnings front, it was kind of a challenging year in many ways. If you look at our results through the first 3 quarters, we were actually flat to the prior year, but our team engaged in a very strong finish and enabled us to go ahead and register that $1.95 record earnings for the year. At a divisional level, the divisions that really kind of stood out during this past year were our grocery products group and our international and other team. Both of those teams benefited from the Skippy acquisition, but also had several other growing franchises as part of their results. In the refrigerated foods and Jennie-O Turkey Store areas, our protein-based businesses confronted some challenges in terms of some of their costs, and as we head into the coming year, we expect some of those to reverse and be more favorable. We've been able to achieve quite a bit of our growth over the past several years through innovative new products. I've talked to you at past meetings about our innovation challenges, our achievement of the $1 billion challenge 2 years early, of the $2 billion challenge as of the end of last year's and at last year's meeting after 2012. And we announced the newest challenge, the $3 billion challenge by 2016. We're going to continue to track those same items that have been new to the marketplace since the year 2000 and are looking to continue to grow those. And indeed, we saw a 10% growth in that group of products going forward. It was also exciting to receive some recognition from Progressive Grocer magazine this past year, as they cited 7 of our brand new items during 2013 as exciting new items that they were looking at in the marketplace, the most of any food company cited in the publication. So one of those 7 items is the Rev line, our Hormel Rev Wraps. We talked about that launch at last year's meeting. At that point, it was still kind of in test markets, and we went through the national launch procedures in the spring and the summer. Our team of 111 new employees at the Austin plant did a wonderful job of keeping up with the production demands, and our sales force did an excellent job getting execution in the marketplace. And we're really enjoying some great success with the product line. Through the end of the fiscal year, we had sold over $30 million in retail sales of this brand new item, and again, it had only been national since July. Our new product innovation is not limited to the retail set or the grocery stores. Our food service team also looks to bring innovative items to the marketplace. This last year represented the 2nd year in a row that our Hormel Food Service Group ended up with a record new item. So the Fire Braised Meats, it was cited in the opening video, utilizing a unique and innovative technology that we use in our Dan's Prize plant in Long Prairie, Minnesota, has been an excellent launch for the group, and this follows upon the prior year's pecan wood bacon launch. Innovation has been key for our Mexican foods portfolio. Indeed, if you look closely at those 7 items that were cited on the Progressive Grocer list, 4 of them were from the Mexican group. 3 Herdez items, including the new Herdez cooking sauces and the Holy Guacamole new 100-calorie packs. This really pushes us further and further into the snacking arena, an area that we see as a growing area for the company. And Jennie-O Turkey Store has been no stranger to successful innovation as well. They launched a new maple bacon product, and they've also been working on some of their existing products, such as their traditional bacon item, to improve the product and be able to attain a number of new households. Jennie-O Turkey Store has also supplemented this effort with consumer advertising. Their Make the Switch campaign, which started with a burger focus 3-4 years ago, moved on to breakfast meat, specifically turkey bacon, and the newest commercial is now out, Make the Switch 3.0, if you will, which features lean ground turkey and a taco application. I'd now like to share with you not only that new commercial, which is on the airs right now, but also the Rev commercial. We featured Rev in our advertising last summer and early fall, and we'll be back on air in February. We continue to advertise our Herdez brand. I'm going to show you an ad from the Korean market related to Spam. And then the last 2 are not really traditional advertisements. They're not the classic 30-second ad that you see on television. They represent more internet-based campaigns. So for Spam with Sir Canalot, it was a Twitter campaign. And with Hormel Black Label Bacon, it was the first annual Bacon Film Festival, and that was an internet-based interactive thing. So let's go ahead and see the commercials.
At Jennie-O, we heard of a place in Iowa where every Thursday, people ride 10 miles for tacos. We thought we'd show up and surprise them with a better kind of taco, made with Jennie-O ground turkey, cooked thoroughly to 165.
I'd feed my kids turkey tacos over regular tacos any day.
I think that they're light and they're just fresh tasting. Yeah, when I eat well, I feel well.
It's time for a better taco.
The tacos tonight were pretty much perfect.
Make the switch. Look for Jennie-O ground turkey at a store near you.
People ask me why I swim. It's not for ribbons or medals or some trophy. I'm after something much greater. They call it The Rock.
Hungry is chasing your dreams no matter how far away they are. Hormel Rev Wraps, 15 grams of protein for those who are hungry.
One great tasting Mexican dish. 3 simple steps to prepare it. Cooking 1, 2, 3 from the makers of Herdez Mexican cooking sauces. For authentic chicken and creamy chipotle sauce, sauté onion and poblano chili pepper. Add seasoned strips of chicken and cook until golden. Simmer in Herdez traditional chipotle Mexican cooking sauce and stir in sour cream. Easy as 1, 2, 3 from the makers of Herdez Mexican cooking sauces. Find more at herdezcookingsauces.com and in Food Network magazine.
정성을 다해 준비했습니다. 받는 사람도 그 가치를 아는 선물. 스팸 선물 세트.
Clear your mind. Now, think about spam on the internet. Did you think about this? Probably not. And that's the problem. To solve it, we had to change the conversation. Or as our spokes-character Sir Canalot would say,
free ourselves from the Twitter monotony on FaceTube!
He did this by doing the impossible. He responded to people from his webcam in real time and very animated. Over the month, Sir Canalot starred in over 70 unique videos.
Y'all! Copy. Dear Roy Choi of Shane Victorino, Vernon Davis on Twitter. I've heard all about those grills gone wild.
He's small, but he had a huge impact. From the press to professional athletes and prominent chefs, the spam you tweet became the spam you eat.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your tweets.
Now don't be mistaken, I love me some bacon, just like any growing boy should. Now don't be mistaken, I love me some bacon.
First time I ever had bacon, I was 7 or 8 months old, and it just changed my life. You know, Mama always said that bacon is good for the soul. May she rest in peace.
Oh man, I'm really sorry for your loss.
Oh, she ain't dead. She's upstairs resting peacefully, so try to keep it down. My name is Devin, and I heart bacon, and you should too.
Well, due to our success in growing the company again in 2013, we're in a position to share in that success with our key stakeholders. First of all, there's all of you, our shareholders. Our board of directors approved another dividend increase in November. This year was an 18% increase, up to 80 cents per share. It represents the 48th consecutive year that we've been able to increase the dividend. We're in the top 10 companies in the United States in terms of that kind of a track record. And then we continue also our great legacy of sharing our success with our overall team. This includes both our legacy profit sharing program, which was at a record level of $17 million this year, and then we added on to that 3 weeks later a special discretionary cash award to all 19,800 team members throughout the country and really actually throughout the world. So that's another nearly $6 million that we were able to share with the team. For the past several years, it's been my privilege to be able to share the stage with some of our key business leaders, and they've been able to tell you such things as with Steve Bender talking about our pepperoni and party tray business. Jim Splinter shared with you about Megamex. Dr. Phil Meinrich talked about our R&D procedures last year. And this year, our featured presentation comes from our head of international, Mr. James Snee. Jim and I are pictured here in a visit last spring in Beijing, both in front of our Beijing plant and then in the marketplace. I go on a trip pretty much once a year for 2 weeks. Jim goes on several trips a year, and his team, in many cases, more than that. So they sacrifice a lot, and they've delivered some outstanding results for us, but I'm going to let him tell you about them. So, Jim Snee.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and thanks to all of you for coming out tonight. It's truly a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to you about the great work being done by the talented team at Hormel Foods International to grow our company, our brands, and our business outside the United States. Our international business is a very exciting and dynamic part of the overall corporation, and it's doing its part to contribute to the wonderful results Jeff shared with you earlier. However, I think it's important to note that the international business is not a new idea or new concept to Hormel Foods. Our company has been hard at work over the years to develop a larger presence around the globe. And these former presidents of Hormel Foods International and the teams that they led are the true pioneers of international. Now, many of you probably recognize some or all of these individuals, and these individuals willingly left their friends and family for weeks at a time to travel the globe to grow the Hormel brand. But they did it before cell phones, before the internet, before Wi-Fi, before Facebook, FaceTime, and Skype. Really quite a commitment and quite an adventure. But the foundation that they and their teams laid have allowed us to build a bigger and more successful international business that's delivered accelerated growth to our company. You see, the role of Hormel Foods International within Hormel Foods is pretty well defined. We are expected to grow our business at a faster pace than the overall company goals of 5% sales growth and 10% profit growth. As you can see from these charts, we're clearly exceeding those expectations. And 2013 was a record year by any measure. And we've been able to achieve these outstanding results with the help of some very strong brands and versatile products in a number of different geographies. Our iconic Spam brand is well recognized across the globe, but particularly well known in South Korea and the Philippines. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is pick up yesterday's New York Times and look on the front page where one of the lead articles, the headline reads, "In Korea, Spam is the stuff gifts are made of." And you had a chance to see in the commercial clip an ad for the gift packs that really are valued as a gift to the Korean consumer. Our iconic Skippy brand, while the newest member of the family, has already delivered outstanding results, and we're very excited to see what the future holds for this global brand. And we mention China specifically because of the significant investment that we've made in that country. We now have 3 manufacturing plants and a sizable workforce, so it's critical that we execute flawlessly to capitalize on this opportunity. And now I'd like to bring some of these products, strategies, and team members to life for you and give you a feel for what it's like to do business in some of our more important geographies. These first 2 videos highlight South Korea and the Philippines, and we've been in business in both countries for quite some time, and we also have long-standing partnerships in both. I think you'll enjoy the videos.
I've been with Hormel Foods for 15 years. My experience in South Korea this year has been phenomenal. South Korea is booming. Hormel Foods products are sold in neighborhood stores and more traditional supermarkets. We do have a lot of items such as chili, bacon, natural choice products, salsa, just to name a few. And one key ingredient to growing our business is finding good partners. And we're very fortunate in working with CJ Choujadang, and then we have companies like Good Morning Foods and TYC Corporation as our pork importing partners. Spam is a premium product here in South Korea. In fact, it's got a certain cachet in Korea that people in other countries may not understand. So sought after that Spam gift packs are exchanged at Chuseok, which is Korea's Thanksgiving. Instead of going to someone's home with wine or flowers, you might bring a 12-pack of Spam. Gift packs make up 55% of Spam sales here, and after the US, Korea is the #1 market for Spam in sales. There are many Hormel products that are sold here in South Korea. Our majority of business is fresh pork, which we sell in food service, retail, and for further processing. Fresh pork is big business in Korea. They are only 71% self-sufficient in their pork supply. By 2016, there will be 0 duties on US imported pork, so what a great opportunity for Hormel Foods to have a great presence here in this market. My family is here with me in Korea. They've enjoyed every single moment of this new adventure for them. And as you can imagine, my family had some adjustments coming from Austin with a population of 24,000 to Seoul with a population of over 24 million. We really enjoy traveling together around Korea as a family. Every day is different, every day is new, and every day I see great opportunities.
If I had to describe, what it's like to work for Hormel Foods in the Philippines in one word, it would be exciting. The best part of working in this market is exploring new areas of growth. So many growth opportunities. We've grown double digits the last 5 years, and in 2013, we actually grew 50% in export volume and profits. Spam is the driver with those exports. It's very common to see consumers buying our Spam products by the case. We recently introduced Spam Tocino, a custom variety that was the brainchild of a Filipino Hormel Foods employee. I know it's going to be a big hit. Food service is growing. Mini-stop convenience stores created a custom menu around Spam, now sold in its 350 outlets. Through our joint venture, Pure Foods Hormel, we also manufacture for local consumption and export to Filipino expat communities across the world. San Miguel Pure Foods has been a fantastic partner since the beginning of our operations here in 1972. Our wildly popular line of tender, juicy hot dogs are red because red casings were used years ago to keep the hot dogs looking fresh in open food markets. We have an amazing 68% of the country's market share in hot dogs, 150 million pounds this year. This is my 37th year with Hormel. Since 2002, I've managed the company's Philippine business. I describe the Filipino people as extremely friendly, respectful, and honest, and just wonderful to work with. My family and I love exploring the beautiful beaches and mountains.
Jack and Dave truly are great representatives of our company, and you'll get to see a few more individuals here in a little bit. But in November 2013, the Philippines were devastated by Typhoon Yolanda. And as you would expect, our company and our employees stepped up to help. Through product donations, employee financial donations, and company matching financial donations, we have contributed almost $100,000 to the relief effort. Just another great example of how much we care. In addition to the great foundation we have with our Spam business and our fresh pork business, the addition of the iconic Skippy brand this year has just been tremendous for the international team. Sales of Skippy outside the United States are $95 million, and our two biggest markets, Canada and China, represent over half of our sales. The addition of Skippy really was transformational for each of those markets because Skippy now represents approximately 30% of the business that we do in each of those markets. So we're fortunate to be able to add such a sizable acquisition and a meaningful part of the business just like that. And over time, we've seen our business in China evolve from a US or Western-based refrigerated meat company to one that more closely resembles the balanced model that's worked so effectively for Hormel domestically. We can offer our customers and consumers a wide array of safe, high-quality products whether they're looking for products in the refrigerated meat case or shelf-stable products like Spam and Skippy, flavors that are traditional Chinese or Western flavors, and we have products that appeal to both the food service customers and retail customers. This business is growing at a very accelerated rate and is becoming an even more meaningful part of the international business every day. And now I'd like to bring some more of these products and strategies and people to life for you and give you an example of how our teams in Canada and China are working so hard to capitalize on these opportunities.
We have had such great growth in this market and expect it to continue. Hormel in Canada will close this year at about $70 million in sales. In 2014, our plan calls for $100 million in sales, in no small part from innovation in the Skippy brand. I'm born and raised Canadian and have always worked in the food industry. I have just celebrated my 10th year with Hormel Foods. I know that our team is working on global brand strategies. With our business partner, CB Powell, Hormel began selling Spam in Canada in 1992. Since then, it's become a diverse business across multiple channels, from grocery and refrigerated to food service. It really ties into Hormel International's mission of accelerated growth. Our refrigerated business is built around differentiated products, such as the deli tray. These are exciting times. As for Skippy, we're currently the #2 peanut butter brand. Canadians want natural options, and we are confident that Skippy Natural will help us make the leap to #1. There's so much to explore in Toronto. Hockey is absolutely a big part of the culture in Canada.
Hey, Alex. So glad you could meet me for the game tonight. Yeah. It's going to be so much fun. I know.
We love to go to the NHL games, particularly to watch the Maple Leafs. And all of my kids grew up around the rink. Spending time outdoors road cycling and exploring areas in and around Toronto is a favorite activity. Working for Hormel Foods is, in one word, challenging. There is so much variety in our work every day. At Hormel Foods, we are empowered to solve problems. We have a fantastic team of people that cares about our products and building our business.
You can see it everywhere. China's economy is booming. The best part of my job as general manager for Hormel Foods in China is the excitement of such a fast-moving market. There's potential in every corner. Hormel Foods business is growing at over 20%, and with that kind of pace, you're always on the go. What a lot of people might not realize is that we have over 1,000 employees working in China for Hormel Foods. We also have a management team with unbelievable depth of experience. Many of them have over 15 to 20 years of industry experience and over 12 years of tenure with Hormel Foods. Approximately 70% of our business in China is food service. We partner with many multinational operators to develop products for local tastes. We began operations in China in 1997, offering chilled, processed meats, and demand has consistently grown for safe, quality, consistent products from a trusted and recognized brand. This includes Skippy Peanut Butter. It's China's #1 selling brand, and we're leveraging that market share to grow Spam and our other great brands. I've been with Hormel Foods for over 17 years. The most unique thing about working here is getting used to a 24-hour day. The 13-hour time zone difference between Shanghai and the corporate office means that after a day immersed in local business, I catch up with my colleagues in Austin as their workday is just beginning. I've gotten to know Shanghai well in my 3 years here. At first, getting around was a lesson in humility. With 5 times the number of skyscrapers of New York City, the scale of Shanghai is extraordinary. The language was a challenge, but the pace was so exhilarating and the opportunity so tremendous that it didn't really register as an obstacle.
现在我可以说一点点中文，但是我的孩子比我非常好。
If I could describe China in one word, that would be dynamic. Surging growth combined with our great partnerships and popular demand for Hormel Foods products, such as Skippy and Spam, make China a distinct and robust marketplace full of possibility.
And yes, he really does speak Chinese, and he speaks Chinese well. It's amazing to see. Well, you heard them. Challenging, dynamic, opportunity, exciting. Those are all great words to describe the international business in the countries where those individuals live, work, and represent Hormel Foods. So as for me, I tried to get it down to one word, but anybody who knows me knows that that's quite difficult. But I got close. I got it down to 2. Progress. We have made great progress against our strategic initiatives over the last several years, and that progress is reflected in the outstanding results that we've been able to deliver. Possibilities. We are just scratching the surface of the possibilities that exist to make this business an even more meaningful part of our company. While we've had success, we know that the best is yet to come. And we also know that none of this is possible without the pioneers who went before us, the talented team members you got to see tonight, but also the talented team living and working here in Austin, Minnesota, and the commitment of this great company whose world headquarters are based right here in Austin, Minnesota. In closing, these are the Chinese characters for thank you. They're pronounced she she, just like it looks, right? Well, I'd like to thank all of you for your time and attention tonight, and it is my sincere hope that you share the same level of excitement and confidence that I have that Hormel Foods International will continue to deliver accelerated growth to our company. She she.
In order to keep on this trajectory of growth, we need to continue to attract and retain excellent employees for our company. And these recognitions show that we're at least doing something right in that regard. We're viewed as an outstanding place to work for recent grads. We're one of the best companies to sell for. We're an excellent company for veterans to land and thrive in their future career. And then very recently, we were named among the best companies for leadership development. Indeed, if you can see the right side of the chart there, we were ranked 9th in the United States, along with such other notable companies as P&G, IBM, General Electric, and McDonald's. We continue to be active in terms of supporting our communities. Our target areas for this kind of support are education and hunger. In the Austin community alone this past year, we donated over $600,000 to such projects as the Apple Lane Community Child Care Center out at Riverland College now, the Mayo Clinic expansion here in Austin, Minnesota, and the Cedar Valley expansion. We continue our program of matching donors and donations for K-12 operations as well as for colleges through our education program, and we also have the Hormel Scholarship Program. And then hunger clearly is a central initiative of the company. Last year, over $6.5 million in products and cash were provided both on a national basis and for our project SPAMmy on a global basis. And indeed, in the area of SPAMI, we kind of stayed at the same level. Caritas is at 110 different family centers, and 5 million servings is what they can handle there when they match it up with other commodities that they receive. But one of the things we have been able to accelerate in our Project SPAMI is our employee engagement trips. You may recall last year we shared with you the video of some of the folks who had gone on those trips. We do 4 trips a year, 18 folks each time, plus 2 leaders from the company. And last year for those trips, we were fully subscribed. The employee is asked to take a week of their own vacation and pay for their own airfare, and then we provide the rest of the costs as well as tie them in with Caritas and get them into a position where they can really help in the local marketplace. We were very excited this year as we just closed our enrollment period for the 2014 program that we had 180 applicants for our 76 spots. And so we had to do kind of a lottery, and again, we'll move on with that, but it shows excellent interest on behalf of our teams for this project. Then another relatively new program for the company is the CARE program. We took a page out of the Jennie-O Turkey Store book for this. This was a chance on a grassroots level for our employees to raise money, that if there's other employees at a time of need, a funeral expense, a flood, something happens to their home, we're there for them in terms of being able to offer these kind of grants. And during the past year, helped 48 folks from throughout the company with over $60,000 in those grants. So our presentation tonight is about growth. I started the evening talking about the growth in 2013, but our orientation is very long-term. We're very proud to be a 123-year-old company. We want to continue to thrive well into the future. And so if you look at it on a longer-term basis, in terms of shareholder returns, a $100 investment back in October of 2008 is now approaching almost $350, so tripling of the stock during that time frame. The overall market has indeed gone up during the same time frame, but as you can see, we've vastly exceeded both the food peer average and the S&P 500 indicator for the overall market. And then in terms of our own results, Jim mentioned to you kind of the company goals. The company goal is 5% a year growth in terms of sales and 10% a year growth in terms of earnings. And those are among the highest goals in the food industry, and it's really exciting for me to see that the team has been able to generate exactly that with 6% compound growth for the last several years in sales and exactly that 10% number on the earnings side. So it's all about growth going forward, and I think you'll hopefully share with me the exciting feeling that looking at the initiatives that Jim has in his international group, and coupled with such projects as Rev and Fire Braised and our Mexican portfolio and Jennie-O Turkey Store and our revised Cure 81 and on, we have an excellent portfolio of brands to be able to continue to generate those results, and better yet, we have a wonderful team in place that works so hard to do that every day. Thank you for your attention. Our inspectors of elections have completed the tabulations on the voting, and our secretary has a report on this voting. So, Mr. Johnson, will you please give us that report?
Mr. Chairman, each of items 1 through 3, as identified in the proxy statement and voted upon by stockholders here tonight, has been approved by the required vote.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The final tabulation of the vote will be included in a Form 8-K filed with the SEC in the next few days.